Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet X News. This is Scott from the Nibiru channel. And ladies and gentlemen, I am here with our physicist, and we were poking around a little bit on the Helio viewer site, and we were trying to, determine what was happening once again with the Solar Dynamics Observatory, what we refer to as the SDO, show you images of the sun, the corona holes, things of that nature. Once again, the either the craft or something's occurring. They're shifting the imaging around back and forth real fast, and it seems so possibly we might not be able to see something. Well, we decided to go over to the Helio viewer site, and you have a little bit more control on what you're viewing. And as we were just kind of dancing around through the site, I happened to stumble onto something that I think we all need to see. And myself and the doctor, we've been going through Helio Viewer back into the end of June. And we found some amazing things. So, Doctor, without further ado, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Scott. And you?
I'm doing pretty good. So what did you think of the images that we found today? Pretty amazing.
Well, amazing. I'm still very surprised and yet very happy that we're finding more evidence of these objects being close to the sun.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal. We legitimately are trying to investigate. People that investigate, they don't leave any stone unturned. And, in the course of a long day, we have a lot to do. There's a lot of information that these people try to cover up. If you're, a good investigator with a good partner who has a good mind, such as in our physicist, you can put these two minds together and we can start to find things that are proving not only our theories, but our point. Our point is there are definitely other stellar objects orbiting our sun, around our sun. They are creating issues with our sun, and in turn, that is creating massive problems on our planet. You can see it. I'm not even going to go into that because you already know the earthquakes, the volcanoes, everything is on the uptick. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with everybody. I want you to pay very close attention to what we're going to show you, and also kind of have an open mind on what you're looking at. Now, listen, folks, back in at the 11th,
July 10th, or
July
10th, yes, I think it was.
Okay, now we discovered this object passing through the corona of the sun. Clearly a solid object.
Yes.
People within the opposition, oh my God, they started running their mouths about this is a coronal prominence cavity. And I myself, I've seen these prominences many, many times before. They're very easy to distinguish other than what you're seeing here. Okay. This object clearly passes directly through the corona of the sun as it was passing by the sun. Now, the doctor did a full report on this, estimated this object. Do you remember, doctor, what your estimation was on
it was about 4 times the size of the Earth.
Okay, so that makes this decently, big, and this is a close-up view.
Yes, indeed.
So now, now we know. I'm just going to get out of this for now. So now we know what is there. We know that there's something out there. So I prepared a little file here of what we were investigating, and we're just going to start. I don't have these in any particular order because they're kind of out of order. Okay, but I hope everybody can see this loud and clear. Okay, just let me move over here 1 second. One second, doctor.
Okay.
Just trying to fix something with the live chat here real quick.
Okay. This is the Hinode spacecraft, which is a Japanese and NASA venture.
Yes. Now,
So,
if you look down here, folks, just so you know, we're not playing any games. Right down here, follow my cursor. Here is the timestamp for the date, June 25th, and that is 6:05:41. Okay, this is taken directly from the Helio viewer. You can see their logo right here in the corner. Now, here's the deal, folks. Whoever was operating the camera at this time, they were zooming in on these objects that you see on your screen, the dark circular objects. Now, your first thought would be, oh, those have to be sunspots. Well, no, because the sunspot is right here. Okay, where I'm circling right in front of you. That is the sunspot. Now, later on, you're going to see these objects. You're going to see these objects move across the sun. And there's even more evidence on top of that. So just hold your pants on.
yeah.
Now, this is a wider view. Again, timestamp down in the lower left-hand corner. This is just this June 25th. Now, once again, they were photographing these three objects. Now, you can clearly see, I'll zoom in just a little bit so it doesn't pixelate. You could clearly see these objects are not on the sun. And to have three objects in a perfect line would be nearly impossible. You could see this object here, zoom in, is clearly raised up. It's passing by. So is this object. So is this object. Try to zoom in as much as possible. Now this object over here, again, it's not on the surface of the sun. It's passing by.
Yes, I think it's passing by in the sun's corona. And don't forget, the sun's corona is made out of diffuse. It's diffuse. It's a plasma. And so when a solid object like this passes by it, we would see things that look like holes in the corona. But you can see the object is not far from the sun because you can actually see some of the gas or the plasma. It's around the outline of the object. So part of the object is covered by some corona plasma, if we look at it closely. So these objects are basically in the sun's corona.
Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting what we're taking a look at, what we're finding. Now, again, here's another photograph from the 28th of June.
Yes.
12:12 was the time. 12 minutes after noon on the 28th.
Yes.
One of these people.
And we see three of them.
Now, once again, just to show you that these objects are not sunspots. They're not embedded in the sun. I hope you can clearly see this. This object is away from the surface of the sun. There's another object here. And look at the debris. Now that is either debris or those could be smaller planets. I mean, they are of the size. Yes. Remember, the size of the sun is massive compared to the Earth. We'll show you the actual the size of the Earth and the size of the sun in some future photographs here. But what do you think about this, Doctor? This photograph here from Helio?
Well, yes, clearly the one on the left edge is not on the surface of the sun. It's in the sun's corona. So the rest of the objects will be in the sun's corona as well. And they're obviously all moving together. We keep seeing 3 of them or 4 of them or 5 of them. across the surface of the sun. They seem to be moving across, and they do seem to have a type of debris field, maybe some material that they've lost from the whole body of the object, and it seems to be floating around them. I doubt that they are planets, because I don't think planets can survive being in the sun's corona.
Oh, that is
Basically,
true. That
they
is
will
true.
become molten rock. So I think these are, like I said before, stellar remnants that belong inside this kind of environment. So they are cores of old stars, and that's what I think they are. I don't think they fall from the sun. They look like they are actually embedded in the corona. That's why we see a little diffuse gas sometimes, or plasma in front of them or around the edges. And
Doctor,
that shows me they are in the sun's corona.
what would these objects look like if they were passing by? As far as coloration, you know, we have the big orange sun here.
Yes.
Do you know much about the actual camera that
Yes,
is?
I believe these are X-ray images. This satellite has optical, extreme ultraviolet, and X-ray detectors. And I think this is X-ray. So basically the object is dark because it doesn't emit whatever light the satellite is looking at, whether optical, ultraviolet, or X-ray. So that's why the objects look dark. They're not emitting. If this is X-rays, it means they don't emit X-rays. XRT sounds to me like X-ray. You can see on the right-hand side of the image, it says XRT.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
so,
We'll have to look. We'll have to look a
yeah,
little
I've
further
looked
into
up,
that.
but it does say optical, extreme ultraviolet, and X-ray detectors on the satellite.
So if there were solid objects passing by in view of that camera at that time, with its sophisticated technology, it would pick these objects up.
Yes. In fact, when I looked at these images, you can see there it says the timestamp 12/12/19. It looks like they took another image a few seconds later, because the next image is at 12/12/37. And then the next one will be at 12/12/54. So they took images seconds apart in order to catch the objects moving across the sun. And then the next image was from 12/18, so 6 minutes later, where we then see 5 objects on the sun's western limb, or on the right-hand side. So they actually took specific photographs in order to catch the movement of these objects moving across the face of the sun.
That's exactly what I thought. Whenever I looked at those timestamps, I thought to
Yes.
myself the same thing. They're trying to catch the movement in short time lapse.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go ahead and move on to the next photograph, folks, because you know we got a couple of doozies here, and you're going to want to see them. Now, once again,
Yes.
same objects, the opposite side of the sun. They're
Mm-hmm.
moving.
Yes.
They're actually moving in the direction that the sun is rotating.
That's right.
And we'll take a quick look at
and
them.
the larger one, I calculated, it's about 4 times the size of the Earth. So I just placed the little Earth they give you to measure sizes by. And the rest of the objects are a bit smaller. Some of them are about the same size as the Earth.
That's not it, folks. There's more. And again, this was on June 28th. This was 6 minutes later.
That's right.
Okay. In 6 minutes, these objects made it from one side all the way to the other.
And notice there are 5.
Yeah, that shows just massive speed.
Yes.
You know, I mean, that's pretty fast, because the sun is what, over 800 and some thousand miles in diameter? Or,
yes.
I forget the actual measurement.
Yes. I've forgotten now.
Yeah, so these objects were moving across. Now, once again, remember the video that we just showed in the very beginning, what we captured on July 10th, 11th. That object moving through the lower left side of the sun, passing right through the corona. and out of the picture. Okay, now let's just move on because we have a lot more. Here's a close-up view. You can see this object. I can't get it any bigger. Well, that's just going to pixelate. But you could see this object is not on, the surface of the sun, as you would say. It is passing by. This is a zoomed in version.
Yes.
Okay, folks. Now here's the thing. We weren't taking these pictures. They were taking these pictures. Okay, understand that. They were watching something moving across the face of the sun on June 28th. It's clear as a bell. We've been working on this for hours. Now, these pictures were not in a chronological order because I was trying to save them as fast as I could, because when we started this little investigation hours ago, the minute we started looking at these photographs, my internet went down, went completely out, and everything went fade to black. Had to reboot everything and try to get back on here, and it just kept telling me no internet connection, no internet connection. But I had an internet connection on my end, and then a little while later, it came back up, and we were able to get back into this. So this photograph here, so let me get a full screen on this. You're going to see a lot of debris or whatever is following along with this object as it passes right over the top of the sun to the left. That's as big as I can get it.
Yes, that debris sort of, it's very strange. It's as if these objects are breaking apart. I wonder if that's what's happening. Because it looks like they are dark. These little specks are dark, like the objects themselves.
I was thinking earlier when I looked at this photograph, I'm thinking, are these objects towing, large chunks of debris, possibly asteroid size pieces of whatever they drug from outer space into our inner solar system. And it may be a possibility that they just keep going round and round, round and round. It even looks like there is an object right here out in front of this object.
Yes.
Possibly even two. But you can see they are streaming in pretty straight lines.
Yes.
Behind that object, which is, that kind of raises some eyebrows, man.
Definitely.
One of those objects breaks loose, we don't know what the hell can happen at that point in time. Now, we wanted to make sure what you're looking at here, you're able to pick out all of the coronal holes. The computer actually does it for you, the helio viewer. The AR stands for an active area and filaments and things of that nature. Okay, everything is marked on this image.
Yes.
We wanted to make sure that this object was not detected by their computers that are set to detect active regions, coronal holes, filaments, all of that good stuff. And it did not pick it up because that object doesn't belong there and it's passing by. What do you think, Doctor?
Definitely, Scott. It's not a feature connected with the sun because it's not part of the sun. We actually see them moving in. That's why they're at one edge first on the left-hand side, and then they move across to the right-hand side. They're moving across the sun. They're moving through the sun's corona. But in a way, it's not surprising. These objects are probably connected to the first brown dwarf star we observed from the 2007 stereo B data, and that object also traversed the sun, and that So it's not surprising that there are more of them. It's just that one was a lot larger than these objects are. Unless, of course, it's the same one and it's breaking into smaller pieces.
Yeah, now here's another photograph, which was just a few minutes further along, showing the same thing. You know, this object moving by, some smaller objects trailing behind.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely eye-opening, folks. I mean, I don't
Definitely.
know about you, but we've spent quite a few hours taking a look at this information. And once again, here, I'll just show you the date up here. It is the 28th of June, 1238. This was all occurring in a matter of hours. Mm. And they were watching this. They knew something was coming in. Yes. And they were tuned in on it, because that's exactly what they did.
Yes. And I must say,
job of catching it, Hey, thanks.
Yeah. Yes, Scott, I think you really have a knack for catching these objects. Because you picked it out right away.
I mean, again, I don't use HelioViewer that much. I guess I should. Over the past year, I really haven't used it all that much.
Yes.
But I guess now, I really shouldn't even say this, but I'll say it anyways. I guess they don't count on people going back in very specific detail. And what we did today, you're able to go back and use increments of 1 minute, a few hours, a few days, a week, a month. But going back, Doctor, you can even go seconds. Am I correct?
That's right. You can even move through seconds. Yes.
Yeah. So what we were doing is we decided to start going back in increments of 15 minutes, then 5 minutes, and then a minute. And then bingo, we started to see these objects appearing in the 1 minute increment phase.
Yes.
So again, that's telling me that they were trying to capture movement, because in some of the views, folks, the objects are passing by. That's what they were trying to capture whenever these photographs were taken. And it wasn't long ago, June 28th.
That's right.
Let's take another look. Now, this object here, it was passing right over a big sunspot. Now, the more I zoom in, it will pixelate. But you can clearly see, even though it's pixelated, it is above this sunspot. It's above it. Look right here.
That's right. And it has notice that it has a red outline around it.
Oh, yes, perfectly.
And that seems to be above the sunspot. So I wonder if some of that outline is actually part of the object. In other words, it has its own cloud of ionized gas around it. Either that, or it's absorbing some of the sun's plasma, and it's enveloping the object. And that, to me, I always think of that as the brown dwarf stars, because the brown dwarf stars always have a gaseous envelope, ionized gas envelope. And that gas envelope could be emitting radiation like we see this. It looks like it has an envelope around it. So this is very interesting.
Yes, it most definitely is. And you know what? Before we even move any further, you're going to have all of these people that say, oh, if something was that close to the sun, it would explode, it would burn up, blah, 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 blah. Well, yes, folks, if it was a planet, like a planet that we live on, or, any of the planets in our solar system, yeah, it would definitely have some very, very serious issues. But these are stars. This is their background. This is their nature. That's their neighborhood.
That's right.
That's pretty intriguing.
Extremely.
I mean, once again, we're trying to bust this door wide open. We're trying to bust this thing wide open. And then, I accidentally come across this crazy looking picture. This is from 2001.
Yes.
I was just going through some, I guess, different. I don't know exactly what these really are. I mean, I stumbled onto this, and this is from 2001, December 14th, and the hours are right down here in the corner. They are 20:58:33. So you could see the date right down here in the lower corner. I immediately called the doctor in on this one, and I said, okay, what in the hell is going on in this picture? Because I could see the sun back here, and there is a pretty good a solar flare, or solar flare, a sunspot on this angstrom of, this was on the, like, almost like the SDO.
Yes, it's just an old satellite.
Yes, exactly. And then we come across, okay, what in the hell is this? What is that blocking the sun? I mean,
well, you can see it looks like it's got a gaseous surface because of the little spots on it. It's not smooth, small structure. It looks to me like plasma, but not emitting a lot of light. And what can you think of that, of course, is like that? It's a brown dwarf star. So I would say that it looks like one of these objects passed between the sun and the camera. And I would guess the surface of a brown dwarf star that is not emitting a lot of mainly infrared in possibly, I'm not sure what this image is.
I know. I'll tell you, this
visible light, or if it's ultraviolet, it could be ultraviolet.
Yeah, this is just totally freaking weird.
Yes, it's probably ultraviolet, so we can see the corona. So this object is obviously not emitting a lot of ultraviolet. It's not completely dark, so it may be emitting a little bit of ultraviolet. You see a little bit of lighter brown on it, but you can see the small structure. It looks gaseous to me. So it looks like a star.
Yeah, the surface is weird.
Yes.
You know, it gets pixelated here, but I mean, I'll zoom in for you guys as much as possible. It will pixelate, but you can clearly see, the sun right behind it. The sun had a lot of action going on in 2001, and there's some of it. But whatever that is.
What is the most interesting is that it shows us that these objects were here in 2001 already. These types of objects. And this is the last image available from the satellite. So when this happened, they shut down the satellite. Oh, well, the satellite feed, anyway.
You know, one of the folks in the chat wanted to know, if these were stars, why do they have debris fields? I mean, we've gone over that with brown dwarf stars, I don't know how many countless times.
Yes. Well, it's due to the way they form. Brown dwarf stars were once main sequence stars. When they start aging, they start increasing their size, they sort of start losing their outer layers of gas. And eventually, once they become they go into the white dwarf phase, they have a lot of gaseous material around them. And part of this material is the debris field. It's just parts of the object that has broken off the object. And we saw as well the blue-brown dwarf, how it was shedding its own surface, and it was surrounded by debris and cloud. It looked dirty. And it's the nature of these objects. They're just surrounded by debris. Also, they traveled a long distance from outside the solar system towards the sun. And of course, they would collect a lot of material on the way, because the solar system is full of rocky objects. So some of these, I suppose, would come with the object. But I think actually the debris we are seeing may be coming from the object itself, because if it was rocky objects behind it, just rocky objects, in the sun's corona, because it's so hot, they will just melt and become part of the gas. they would vaporize basically and become part of the plasma and part of the sun's corona. So I think these little pieces that are visible as solid, small solid objects may be parts of the objects themselves that have broken off this surface. That's what I think, because
Yeah.
otherwise they wouldn't stay intact.
Yeah, I mean, space is a dirty place. I mean, let's face it, folks. It's dust, gas, rocks, remnants. I mean, we still don't even know to this day. There are so many questions out there. And, I'm sure we can be here for many eons trying to discover what is actually out there, how it's formed, where it came from and where it's going. What we're trying to find out right now is what in the hell is going on in our inner solar system. And when did this all start and how long have we been lied to? And as we dig further and deeper, we thought this was going back to possibly 2007, 2006, 2005. Here we're finding a crazy looking object in 2001 on December 14th. Maybe this is something that could be explained. Maybe not, but I have my reservations about it. But I thought it was something that we should show you. It definitely raised some questions with myself and the doctor. And once again, we just want to try to present whatever information we're coming up with. But let's move on to the next picture here, because once again, let me just get this full screen. We used the technology with the Helio viewer to map out the coronal holes on the top of the sun, as you see here. And they zoomed in on an object that was, again, right near one of these massive sunspots. This was taken on June 30th, 2017. They boxed that off and zoomed in for a reason.
Yes.
For a reason. And there you go. I'm not sure about this little tiny speck of an object right there trailing in front of it. But once again, that is a perfectly spherical object right there in front of your eyes.
That's right.
And again, it seems to be once again associated with a lot of flaring, a lot of activity on these sunspots. Once again, we're talking about CMEs that erupt out of these sunspots. We already dealt with the CME that came our way. We're still feeling the effects of it. We have more activity coming right now within the next couple of days from the other massive coronal holes that have opened up right above the or right below the top of the sun. They are now just kind of melting all together and opening up even more. So as that stream starts to get in our way, once again, things are going to get a little rocky for the Earth. What I've been talking about that I don't want to see happen is, the Earth take a 1, 2, 3 punch. Like 1 or 2 occurrences. Yeah, 2 we could probably deal with depending on the strength. But man, if we get hit with a 1, 2, 3, it's gonna be a bad scene, man.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, the Earth can only take so much of this internal pressure buildup before, again, our tectonic plates, they'll start flexing. And then that starts me to worry about what happens up in Yellowstone. We saw a couple of earthquakes there yesterday, early today. And, once again, that's very concerning. But once again, folks, somebody is watching objects around the sun. Now, I mean, this is spot on proof right here.
Oh, yes.
We didn't take these pictures. Okay. Somebody else was looking at this. They recorded this. We found it. Now, I went ahead and took this photograph here and turned it into a black and white. And what do we find? As soon as you turn it into black and white, you see the sunspot erupting here. That object does. It's very small, but it's black.
Mm-hmm.
There's our other object here. And what
Yes.
appears? This spherical object
Yes.
right behind it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Speechless, aren't you, Doctor?
I am, because that object with it is obviously emitting radiation, X-rays in this case.
The smaller object.
That's right,
Uh-huh.
because it's bright. And it's I don't think it belongs with the sun, so it may be one of these objects as well. But that one is emitting radiation, whilst the black one is not. It's very interesting. Of course, I think it has an envelope around it that is emitting radiation. So the one that is bright may have been able to gain some more energy from the sun. We do know that eventually they are able to emit radiation from the core of the object, not just from the ionized cloud around them. And so it may have gained more energy than the others. Maybe it's been around a bit longer.
It's definitely spherical. It's definitely following with this object.
Definitely.
No doubt about it. Now we're going to move to the next object. Now this was taken in, again, now this photograph was not taken by me. This photograph was logged with the rest of these photographs, and bingo.
Wow.
Yeah. What are you going to tell me that is?
Yeah, again, that's the other object that is emitting radiation. So very interesting, fascinating, actually, to see.
Let me ask a question here. Listen, folks, all of you that are watching this on your cell phones, computer screens, big flat screen TVs, what do you see? Drop some comments in that comment section. You know, I know we talk about a lot of crazy things in the comment section, like, you know, blueberry pancakes and donuts and stuff like that. But what are you seeing? What are you looking at? Can you all see this? Looks kind of crazy to me. And it definitely brings up a lot of questions. Here's just a little bit of a lighter view that was taken. Yeah. Yeah, they were looking at something. What do you think, Doctor? I think they were looking for something specific.
Oh, yes. I think they are actually looking for data on these objects. They are studying these objects and their effect on the sun. We also found that in the 2007 images, they specifically took a lot of photographs, a lot of images as that object traversed the sun. And once it was finished traversing the sun, the space, the time interval between images went from a minute or 2 minutes to hours. So they were specifically looking for images of what was happening as this object traversed the sun. And I think here they are doing exactly the same thing. They are looking at what's happening as these objects move through.
Now this picture, folks, I just happen to be looking at the SDO footage, and out of the corner of my eye, once again, I saw this object shoot directly straight out of the sun. I don't know what it is. I've never seen anything like that before. For it to be in such a perfect line, I mean, listen, you could put a ruler on that right there. And
it's amazing.
What the white object is at the top, I don't know. I can't zoom in. I mean, I can crop it more, and it will just pixelize probably. But I've never seen anything like this before.
Yes.
I don't know if that's, you know, extraterrestrial. I don't know what that thing is, but I thought it was a pretty cool picture to show you guys as we were stumbling through some of this information. And I mean, you know, we were kind of giddy about it. You know, we were like, oh my God, look at this. look at this. It's kind of hard to believe that all of a sudden, you know, we're finding that there are others that are looking at these images. They're not looking at them, they're taking them.
That's right.
Now, this was another image.
Mm.
You know, I mean, this was the first image that I stumbled across, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Mm.
And that's what you come up with.
That's right.
Some things left behind.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a solid object in the sun's corona. What else can I say? And there's the other one behind it, which is emitting light.
Yeah, that's a pretty spectacular picture right there.
It's
I mean,
amazing.
that definitely shows two objects very close to the sun.
Yes.
No, they're not burning up. I mean,
That's
I guess
right.
they're pretty much used to this type of environment.
Yes, I mean, this is why they are attracted to the sun. They are looking for this kind of environment. Actually, they are attracted to the energy that the sun can offer them. They obviously are low energy because they're older stellar remnants. And they absorb energy from the sun. This is what I've been saying for months. These are basically brown dwarf stars, which are cooled down white dwarfs. And they are draining the sun. This is why our sun is getting weaker.
Pretty
And
amazing.
it is amazing. And here we see 4 of them. And when you looked at that zoomed in image, it was obvious that these objects are surrounded by a cloud of ionized gas. You can actually see it.
Yeah, they're moving by.
And they're moving by, yes.
And, you know, this object over here, if you follow my cursor, this is pretty close to the region where we saw the piece of video that I showed you guys in the beginning of the week that we captured on July 10th going into the 11th. The object moving straight through the corona of the sun. Yeah. Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear what the others have to say about some of this.
Yes.
I can hear, oh, you photoshopped this, you photoshopped that, you did this, you did that. Okay, yeah, I photoshopped the pictures and I put them into HelioViewer. All righty then. Well, folks, you know, we wanted to share this information with you as soon as possible. The doctor is going to be writing some reports on this, and she's going to be delving into this a little bit more because there is so much data, so much to go over. And now it's to the point where we have to go through things second by second. And, you know, even though things move fast in space, when you're going to do something like this, I guess you have to check out every nook and cranny for every piece of information, every piece of evidence. There's no doubt. You know, now this definitely confirms for me that we may have other objects that may be further out, but there's no doubt in my mind that we have multiple objects that are orbiting our sun. I mean, there's no question. These photographs were all taken back the last couple of days of June of this year. They're there.
They are definitely there, Scott. And yeah.
Here's your timestamp.
I have been saying that they are there for a while, and we could see that I saw that there were objects there because I saw that the cutoff lines were being used to hide parts of the corona and parts of the sun. So I knew that they were using cutoff lines to hide objects in the sun's corona. Now we're actually seeing what these objects look like. I think these are the objects they've been trying to hide.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. More chemtrails, more deception. Why not just come out and tell the truth? It's very interesting. You know, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and cut this live stream short because I want to get back into digging up more of this information. And I know the doctor is itching to jump right into this, but we just made a decision to get this information out to you guys as soon as possible. And whenever this live stream is finished, it will process into a video. If you want to go back, watch it again, and share it. Share it on your Facebook page. Share it on your Twitter. Share it with everybody. Let them know what is exactly happening. I also want to clear a couple of things up real quick while we're here on this live stream. We had some criticism about the doctor putting out her reports and, attaching a small $10 fee for these reports. Well, folks, we all know that nothing in life is free. But in the same aspect, if someone is serious about helping spread the word, spread the information, we wanted to try to help you also. And by giving you credible information and utilizing your YouTube channel, you can do this. We're not out there saying, hey, you have to pay for this, you have to pay for that. All of the videos, all of the reports will always be done by the doctor on her YouTube channel or live with me. Okay. If you would like to have a copy of that report, just go through the process. Utilize the report in a video that you produce, put it up on your YouTube channel, and join our team. That's it. Cut and dry, plain and simple. The doctor spends hours and hours on these reports. This is not copy and paste material. It takes a long time analyzing the photographs, using your head and putting it all together, and it does take hours. And she is a professional. So we've had a tremendous turnout, believe it or not, for everyone wanting to jump on board. The first day that we decided to do this, yesterday, I think it was just in a 16-hour period, 239 people stepped up to the plate and said, hey, you know what? I'm with you. Let's do this. We've even given out some bonus reports to people to help get them jump started. We need an army, man. We need an army of people putting the information out there where it needs to be. Not everybody has to jump on the bandwagon. You could still lend your support by watching, keeping yourself subscribed, and keeping yourself up on the information. Criticism comes everywhere. We're used to it, especially me. But the fact of the matter is, nobody's forcing your hand. You can do what you want to do. And if any of you decide that you want to purchase one of her reports and start reporting on this information, she's going to be writing many more abstracts based on our observations and what we're finding. If you can go out there and do the same thing, hey, more power to you. But we're trying to help everyone out by giving you the credible information, getting your YouTube channel jump started. It's tough. It's not easy. Getting people to subscribe and watch the videos. You doing a good presentation, learning how to use the screen capturing software to make your video. There's a lot that goes into it. But in due time, hey, if you're skilled at it, go for it. We're right here. Each and every day, the doctor's going to have one of her reports prepared. She's going to be doing them as professional abstracts. And that's the information that you'll be getting. So look for those reports to pop up in a morning video every single day. And we're here to help you out also, like you're trying to help us out. Doctor, any last words before we end our live stream?
Well, I'd like to thank you once again, Scott, for your amazing observations And you're the one who actually first saw these objects. And yeah, it's wonderful to work with you. And as usual, I'd like to say that we are living in difficult times, and we should get to know our Creator, because He would like to get to know us and to help us in this time.
I agree. I agree 100%. Well, listen, folks, we're going to go ahead and cut this live stream, and I'm going to get back to work poking my nose around where it doesn't belong. The doctor's going to go ahead and start preparing a report, and we'll probably end up working through the night to get this done for sometime late tomorrow morning. And as soon as everything's finished, we'll get it out there. And once again, folks, if you want to purchase the reports, you know exactly how to do it. Just make sure you include your complete email address in the comment section, making your transaction. And also make sure you remember to tell us which report you want. Hey, we even had one lady today. She came full board out. She's like, listen, give me all three. I want those three reports. Boom, boom, boom. And she had some questions about how to produce her videos. I helped her out today, took the time, and she's going at it. So the opportunity is there for everyone. If you'd like to step up, we'd like to have you on board. This is Scott and the Rogue Physicist from Planet X News and the Nibiru channel. Thank you for watching.